Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Elijah Manley, and let's queer up the USA view. Salt Lake City and Boise find a way to fly pride flags despite state bans. Despite state bans on pride flags, the skies above Salt Lake City and Boise will still shine with rainbow hues this Pride Month. Both capital cities have found creative legal ways to keep flying the flag for inclusion. By adopting the pride flag or variations of it as official city flags, Salt Lake City in Utah and Boise and Idaho have maneuvered around statewide bans that would otherwise prohibit such displays on government buildings. In Salt Lake City, Mayor Erin Mendenhall introduced 3 new official flags to join the city's existing Sego Lily Flag. According to the mayor's office, the new flags include the Sego Celebration Flag, representing Black residents in Juneteenth, the Sego Belonging Flag for the LGBTQ community, and the Sego Visibility Flag, honoring the city's transgender residents. Mendenhall said, quote, "I want all Salt Lakers to be able to look up at these flags and be reminded that we value inclusion and acceptance, leaving no doubt that we are united as a city and people moving forward together," end quote. Utah's House Bill 77 passed earlier this year aimed to restrict which flags could be flown on government property. But by naming these new banners as official city flags, Salt Lake City found a legal workaround. The city council quickly passed a proposal. Meanwhile, in Boise, the city council took a bolder route. According to the Idaho Statesman, Boise simply declared the pride flag its official city flag. So far, Republican leaders in both states have remained silent on how or if they plan to respond. But for now, the message from these 2 cities is clear. Pride will fly in June 2025. Exciting to see this. I know in Florida, we just recently won that big fight. The legislature did not pass their horrible legislation to ban LGBTQ pride flags and other flags from municipal grounds. I thought that, there was actually a conversation in the city of Wilton Manors about maybe including LGBTQ, emblems or symbols in the city's official flag. So to see that actually happening in other places is promising, because that legislation will be coming back to Florida and it's going to come back worse.
It will. Tallahassee has failed to pass every one of their anti-LGBTQ bills this year, which leaves me hopeful, but also because I just understand that because DeSantis' influence is started to wane now that he is just basically a presidential candidate loser. So, so I like the flags. I really like how Salt Lake City did it. I am a flag enthusiast myself. Very simple, very elegant. I love that Boise just say, screw it, just put the pride flag up.
Right. In some ways, this is a story of hope, though it's also it's absurd that a town has to do this. Mm-hmm. There's the idea that the government's going to overly nitpick. The Florida bill, I remember, was going to be no political flags. I'm like, well, the American flag is a flag stating this is a country. That's the most political document you can have. The Constitution, the Bill of Rights, those are the Declaration of Independence, those are political documents too. That doesn't make them bad. Though I will say with the Florida defeat, it's fascinating that we got so many queer victories after Jason Pizzo left the Democratic Party and was no longer Senate leader. Isn't it interesting that once Lori Berman was in charge of the Senate Dems, they actually got a lot more done. I think that's a very fascinating thing that you've just reminded me of, Bobby.
I want to point out the fact that, I've been to Salt Lake City before, and, it is heavily influenced by the Mormon Church. And so to see a city that is so heavily influenced by the Mormon Church pass something like this actually does give me hope. I've been to gay bars there. They still have very heavily influenced blue laws around alcohol and whatnot. So to see a city like Salt Lake City pass something like this is, to me, actually a huge victory for LGBTQ community in general. And especially with the current national administration pulling back funding for Pride Month, not recognizing Pride Month, basically telling cities, your bridges can no longer be in Pride colors because that's now under, FDOT and all of that. For cities to actually stand up and take the charge, I think is commendable and sad at the same time, but I'm glad that somebody's doing it.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Trump, you're right, is a good point with him with flags, but remember, the last president to ban flags, sign it into legislation, was Joe Biden. He banned them at embassies to get a budget passed. He signed it anyway. So both parties sadly have done that.
No. So that is our big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the